The Vegas Golden Knights are the 2023 Stanley Cup champions after a 9-3 shellacking of the Florida Panthers here in Game 5 in Las Vegas. Alongside David Pagnotta and Dennis Bernstein, I'm Irfaan Gaffar with the fourth period, and our Stanley Cup Final playoff coverage is presented to you by Bodog.
When it feels like all that's left is work hard, it's time to play again. Easily find your next favorite game with Bodog. Free casino games, poker tips, and sports odds. Make a play.
All right, Dennis, let's jump right into it. The Vegas hockey team has been knighted as Stanley Cup champions, and Game 5 wasn't even close.
Yeah. The Vegas Golden Knights are a team in the truest sense of the word, Irf. Yes, Marchessault won the Conn Smythe. Jack Eichel was awesome. Stone had a hat trick tonight, but even guys like Keegan Colasar and Zach Whitecloud contributed to this victory. It wasn't close at the end.
It wasn't. There's a reason I wore my gold tie tonight. I knew that this was going to happen based on how things had performed over the first 4 games of this series. The Vegas Golden Knights really, they could have swept this series relatively easily.
Yeah.
A couple bounces went Florida's way in Game 3, but really this was a total outburst by the Vegas Golden Knights against the Florida Panthers, who had no response. There was a point in this game before it really got away from Florida where it looked like when it was 3-1, then 4-1, it looked like Vegas was on the power play. They were playing 5-on-5 hockey. There was just no response from Florida. They couldn't contain the depth of the Vegas Golden Knights, and kudos to the Knights for exploiting their depth in the right way and utilizing their lines 1 through 4 and their 3 deep pairings, along with a great performance yet again by Adin Hill.
Yeah, huge credit to Bruce Cassidy for being able to coach his team through this and eventually win the Stanley Cup. Mark Stone, hat trick in this game. The captain lifts the trophy. Jack Eichel, first time in the NHL postseason, obviously now as a Stanley Cup champion, but Jonathan Marchessault, Dennis, is now French for Conn Smythe.
It certainly is. The voters love goals. Jack Marchessault was second in points, first in goals, deserving, but he doesn't do it without Jack Eichel, Dave. Jack has proven all the naysayers wrong, that he was a crybaby, that he was injured, he'd never play again because of his neck. He proved everyone wrong. He proved he is the elite player that Vegas thought he would be when he came here via trade.
Absolutely. Taking his star status now to superstar status
no
throughout the course of these playoffs. And this team, again, utilizing their depth, this was a tough vote for me. I got to vote for the Conn Smythe.
Big
timer. Yeah,
this was, whatever. Sorry, a little bit over there. But it was a tough call. I had Marchessault first, Eichel second. But it could have gone either way. If Eichel had taken, it wouldn't have surprised me whatsoever. He played tremendously well, not only from an offensive perspective and creating chances and setting up Marchessault for a number of his goals, but also playing sound on the defensive side of things and being responsible in his own zone. But that's what Vegas does. You have guys like Barbashev and, of course, Eichel and Stone and William Karlsson, who still doesn't get enough credit. This is just one hell of a hockey team, and the bulk of this team is intact again for next season.
I know you don't want to make excuses if you're for the Florida Panthers, but Dennis, we're hearing about some of these injuries, and my goodness, to some of these guys.
Yeah, so beat up. Look, the storm clouds were forming when half hour before the game, it was announced that Matthew Tkachuk wasn't going to play. So that was number one. And then Dave has some details on Aaron Ekblad. It's almost impossible that he played, and he scored a goal tonight as well.
Yeah, first of all, we told you in the pregame that Matthew Tkachuk was dealing with a very serious, significant injury. Well, a cracked sternum certainly goes on that list and certainly applies there. And then, of course, Aaron Ekblad, who's dealing with multiple injuries. Help me out here. I can't
broken foot?
Right, broken
foot against Boston.
Boston. That was 2 months
ago
almost.
Unreal.
Dealing with that, dealing with
shoulder injuries as well.
Separated shoulders twice. And there's something, there are so many different injuries that we're going to hear of that are going to be coming out, not just for Florida, but also Vegas. And that's what happens in these playoffs. And it took, for everything that Aaron Ekblad dealt with and continued to play with and scoring tonight in the Stanley Cup Final, it took a cracked sternum to keep Matthew Tkachuk out of the lineup.
Yeah.
That's how serious these guys want this trophy.
Yeah.
But even if they were healthier, Vegas was the better team.
I agree.
Top to bottom. They deserve this championship. And it's well earned. They're celebrating. They're still celebrating on the ice right now.
They're going to be celebrating for a long, long time. I can guarantee you that here in Las Vegas, and the city is going to go absolutely bananas. The playoffs are always a battle, and the Vegas Golden Knights won the war. So Just want to say thank you to you guys again for bringing me along for the ride. It's always been an incredible time here with you two, bringing me along and having some fun. So for the very last time here, the Vegas Golden Knights are the 2023 Stanley Cup champions, defeating the Florida Panthers in 5 games. For David Pagnotta and Dennis Bernstein, I'm Irfaan Gaffar, coverage here on the 4th period, presented to you by Bodog.